I want you to picture something for a second. Like maybe don't close your eyes if you're driving, but just imagine we're in a small rural clinic in Brazil. It's hot, it's humid, the roads outside are probably dirt.
And inside, there's a patient. Could be anyone, a child, an elder, waiting for a vaccine.
Exactly. And the stakes couldn't be higher. This isn't just a vitamin shot.
No, this is life-saving medicine.
Okay, so now rewind the clock. That little glass vial in the nurse's hand, it didn't start in Brazil. It started its journey weeks ago in some high-tech factory in, say, Belgium.
It's traveled thousands of miles.
Thousands. It's been on a plane, transferred to a warehouse, loaded onto a truck, then maybe a smaller van, and finally, who knows, a delivery scooter.
It's a whole logistical relay race.
It is. And here's the real kicker. That entire time, that liquid had to be kept at exactly minus 70 degrees Celsius.
Which, for context, is colder than a winter night in Antarctica.
It's insane. And here's the nightmare scenario. Somewhere in that ant, that chaotic chain, maybe on a hot tarmac in Dubai or a loading dock in Sao Paulo, the temperature rose.
Just for an hour.
Just for an hour. Or, even scarier, a criminal gang intercepted the shipment and swapped that vial for a fake one filled with saline.
So now the nurse is holding that syringe. How does she know? How can she be 100% certain that what's inside is real and safe?
That is the question. And for a very long time, the honest answer was, she doesn't.
She really doesn't. She's just trusting a label, but she can't see the history. She has no idea what that vial has been through.
And that is absolutely terrifying. But it's exactly what we're unpacking today. We are doing a deep dive into the pharmaceutical supply chain.
Right. And I know supply chain sounds like the most boring topic imaginable.
It does. But this isn't about shipping widgets. In this case, it is literally a matter of life and death. We're basing this deep dive on a report called From Lab to Patient: The Critical Role of Digital Supply Chain Management in Pharma.
And our mission here is really to uncover this invisible digital network that's supposed to protect our medicine cabinet.
Yeah, we want to understand why moving from, paper and spreadsheets to a truly digital system isn't just a business upgrade, it's a safety revolution.
It's a moral imperative, really. The source makes this compelling case that if you can't see the medicine moving, you can't guarantee it works.
Okay, so let's get into it. Because I think most people, myself included, kind of assume shipping a box of pills is the same as shipping a box of sneakers from Amazon.
Oh, not even close.
Put it on a truck, you drive it, you drop it off. Why is moving drugs so much harder?
It's a completely different universe. You've got two main enemies: complexity and sensitivity. So in the sneaker world, let's say a box gets stuck in a hot truck in Arizona for a couple of days.
Right.
The glue might get a little tacky, but the shoes are fine.
Nobody dies from a warm sneaker.
Exactly. But in pharma, we're not just shipping simple chemicals anymore. We're moving towards biologics, gene therapies, complex vaccines. I call it the melted ice cream problem.
The melted ice cream problem.
Okay.
I'm intrigued.
Think about it. You buy a tub of really nice ice cream, and it melts into soup on the way home. You can put it back in the freezer, right?
It freezes again.
It freezes again. To the naked eye, it looks fine. But when you eat it, the texture is all wrong. It's crystallized. The chemistry has literally changed. Yeah.
It's not the same product anymore.
Precisely. With biologics, if they have what's called a temperature excursion, getting too hot or even too cold, they can become useless, inert. Or in some cases, they can actually degrade into something harmful.
So you could be injecting a patient with something that either does nothing or worse, actually hurts them.
And nobody would know. The liquid looks identical. The source points to the COVID-19 vaccines as the prime example. Those mRNA vaccines needed that ultra-cold storage, that minus 70 degrees we talked about. Maintaining that across a global network is an absolute engineering nightmare.
But temperature is just one enemy. You mentioned another one, the human one, the criminals. Is counterfeiting really that big a deal?
It's huge. I mean, criminals counterfeit sneakers for a quick buck, not to hurt people. But in pharma, it's a massive, deadly enterprise. We're talking about a $40 billion annual cost to the industry.
$40 billion? That's a staggering amount of money.
It is, but forget the money. The report states that counterfeiting puts anywhere from 100,000 to 1 million lives at risk. every single year.
1 million lives. That's hard to even comprehend.
It is, and the report cites this specific incident in 2025 where 2,500 people received saline solution instead of actual COVID-19 vaccines.
Wow. So they walked out of that clinic thinking they were protected. They went to visit their grandparents. They went back to work, totally exposed, with zero immunity, all because of a security failure somewhere in the chain.
Exactly. And that's why you have to look at this whole journey in stages. The report breaks it down into 5. You've got R&D, then manufacturing, then distribution, that's the trucks and warehouses, the highest risk zone.
Okay.
Then dispensing at the pharmacy, and finally the patient. At every single one of those handoffs, there's a risk.
It's a gauntlet. So, okay, the stakes are crystal clear. It's invisible to us as patients, but it's absolutely critical. Let's talk about the solution. How do we stop the fakes? The report brings up something called serialization.
Yes, serialization is the foundation for everything else.
It sounds technical.
It is a bit, but the concept is simple. Think of it as giving every single pill bottle or even every blister pack a unique digital soul.
A digital soul. I like that.
In the old days, you just had a batch number. So, a batch of 10,000 bottles of aspirin all shared the same code. If one bottle had a problem, you couldn't tell it apart from the other 9,999.
So if there's a recall, you have to recall the entire back.
The whole thing. It's a blunt instrument. With serialization, every single unit gets a unique 2D barcode. But here's where it gets really powerful. It enables something called aggregation.
The Russian dolls thing, right?
Exactly. So you have a bottle. That bottle goes into a case. The system links that bottle's unique serial number to the case's unique serial number. Then that case goes onto a pallet. The pallet gets its own code, which is linked to all the cases inside it.
So it's like a family tree for the data, a parent-child relationship.
Perfect analogy. So now a warehouse worker can walk up to a massive shrink-wrapped pallet.
And they could just scan the one code on the outside and instantly know the identity of every single bottle buried deep inside that stack without opening a single box.
Precisely. And that visibility changes everything, especially with recalls.
Right. The report mentioned the old way versus the new way on recalls.
Oh, it's night and day. The old way is the panic recall. You find one defect, but you don't know where the bad units are, so you recall the whole batch. You waste millions, you scare the public, and you throw away tons of perfectly good medicine.
And the new way?
It's surgical. Because of serialization, you can identify the exact serial numbers affected. You can say, we only need bottles from this specific production line, from this 3-hour window. The source mentioned a manufacturer who cut their recall investigation time from days down to seconds.
From days to seconds. That's incredible. So you're not just saving money, you're preventing a potential drug shortage by not throwing away good product.
Exactly right.
Okay, so we've given the product an ID. We know what it is. Now let's talk about trust. The report brings up blockchain. And I have to be honest, whenever I hear blockchain, I kind of brace myself for a sales pitch on crypto.
I know the feeling. A lot of hype there.
But in this context, it seems to actually serve a real purpose. Is it more than just hype here?
In this supply chain, it is absolutely not hype. The best way to think of blockchain is as an immutable ledger.
Okay, break that down for us. Why is an immutable ledger so important?
So a supply chain has dozens of different companies, right? Manufacturers, truckers, wholesalers, pharmacies. They all have their own separate computer systems. If a shipment gets damaged or goes missing, everyone just points fingers.
My system says I sent it.
Well, my system says I never got it. It's the classic he said, she said problem.
Right.
Blockchain creates one shared record. The analogy I like is a group project. Imagine instead of everyone taking notes in their own private notebooks, you all have to write in one big shared notebook in the middle of the table.
Okay.
And this is the key. You have to write in permanent ink.
No erasing.
No erasing.
Right.
If you make a mistake, you have to cross it out and write a correction, but the original mistake is still visible for everyone to see. That's blockchain. It's a shared version of the truth that no single person can alter.
So if a criminal tries to change the record to make a fake drug look legitimate, the system just rejects it.
The math just doesn't work. The report says because the data is distributed everywhere, it's computationally and economically impossible to cheat it. But it gets even better with something called smart contracts.
The automatic triggers.
Yes. So imagine a truck pulls up to a warehouse. The system scans the goods, verifies the serial numbers against the blockchain, and checks the temperature data to make sure it stayed cold.
And if everything checks out?
The smart contract automatically releases payment to the supplier. instantly.
Wow. No paperwork, no invoicing, no waiting 30 days for a check.
None of that. It just streamlines the whole business side of things so companies can focus more on the safety side.
That makes perfect sense.
Mhm.
But let's go back to that physical safety. We talked about the melted ice cream. How do we actually know the vaccine didn't get too hot in the truck? This brings us to the Internet of Things, IoT.
Right. So this is where we move from the digital identity of the product to its physical environment. And we're seeing a huge evolution from what were called passive loggers to real-time monitoring.
What's the difference?
A passive logger is basically a fancy thermometer with a memory chip. You put it in the box in Belgium. When the box gets to Brazil, you plug the logger into a computer, and it tells you, hey, bad news, 3 days ago in Miami, I got way too hot.
So it's useful information, but it's way too late. The drug is already ruined.
Exactly. It's an autopsy. You know what killed it, but you can't save the patient. Real-time IoT is totally different. These are sensors that are constantly transmitting data over cellular networks. They track temperature, humidity, light, which can tell you if someone opened the box even vibration to see if it was dropped.
So what for the patient? How does that help?
It allows for predictive intervention. This is huge.
Right.
The algorithms are monitoring that data stream, and they might notice a trend. Hey, the freezer on this truck is slowly warming up. It's still in the safe zone, but it's rising 1 degree every hour.
So it sees the problem before it becomes a disaster.
And it alerts a human, who can then call the driver and say, pull over and check your cooling unit, or they can just reroute the truck to a closer facility to save the medicine. The source says this kind of IoT monitoring reduces temperature-related product failures by 75% or more.
That is a massive reduction in waste. And again, that means more medicine actually gets to the people who need it.
It changes the whole mindset from being reactive, cleaning up messes, to being proactive and preventing them in the first place.
Speaking of proactive, let's talk about the future. Predicting demand. The report uses this term I love, driverless forecasting, and talks about using AI.
Yeah.
Forecasting demand for drugs seems incredibly hard. You don't know when flu season will hit or if a new virus will emerge.
It's notoriously difficult. The old way was basically looking at a spreadsheet of last year's sales and just adding 5%.
The copy and paste strategy.
Exactly. But that's useless when disease patterns are shifting. AI-driven forecasting is like having a crystal ball.
What's the AI looking at that a person with a spreadsheet isn't?
It's looking at everything. Prescription data, of course. But it also scrapes social media sentiment.
Wait, like Twitter? How does that work?
It sounds wild, I know, but think about it. Before people go to the doctor, they complain online, I have the worst fever, or everyone in my office is coughing. If the AI sees a spike in that kind of language in a specific city,
It predicts a flu outbreak is coming. It sees a spike in sore throat tweets and tells pharmacies in that zip code to stock up on antibiotics.
effectively, yes. The report says this can improve forecast accuracy by 20 to 50%, but it's not just about selling more drugs, it's about risk detection.
How so?
The AI can see a perfect storm brewing that a human would miss. It might see a raw material supplier in India is having delays, and a packaging machine in Italy just broke down,
Right.
and a port in Los Angeles is congested.
Individually, those are just small problems. Annoyances.
But the AI puts them all together and calculates that it will mean a shortage of a specific cancer drug in 3 weeks. And it alerts the humans now so they have time to react before the pharmacy shelf is empty.
So it prevents the shortage from ever happening.
Wow. Okay, one more futuristic concept from the report that sounded like pure sci-fi. Digital twins. I love digital twins. It sounds complex, but it's basically a flight simulator for your supply chain.
A flight simulator.
You create a perfect virtual replica of your entire network, your factories, your shipping routes, your inventory levels, everything.
And what do you do with it?
You crash test it. You can ask it questions. What if our main factory in Ireland shuts down for 6 months? What if there's another pandemic? The simulation runs the numbers and shows you the impact without risking a single real patient.
So you fail in the simulator so you don't fail in real life.
That's it. And this tech is also changing clinical trials in a big way.
The decentralized trials.
Right. Traditionally, to be in a drug trial, you had to live near a big research hospital. That excluded tons of people.
Rural populations, people who can't take time off work.
Exactly. It limited access. Decentralized trials bring the trial to the patient. We can ship experimental drugs directly to their homes.
But that brings all the supply chain risks right to someone's front porch.
It does. How do you know they stored the drug correctly? That's where all these tools come back in. The IoT sensors, the apps, they track if the drug stayed cold on the porch. They can even remind the patient to take their dose.
The impact on speed is just undeniable. I mean, the source highlighted the COVID-19 vaccine timeline.
That's the ultimate stat for this whole deep dive. Using this kind of digital integration helped compress the vaccine development timeline from, what, a traditional 10 years down to just 42 days.
42 days. From seeing the viral sequence to manufacturing the first batch, that is the power of this digital infrastructure.
It is, but I can hear people listening and thinking, this all sounds incredibly expensive and complicated. And it is. Which brings us to the core philosophy the report suggests. They call it the string of pearls approach.
Meaning you don't have to do everything all at once.
Exactly. It's overwhelming to think you need AI and blockchain and IoT tomorrow. The idea is you add them one by one. You start with serialization, because that's legally required now anyway. Then you add IoT to your most sensitive products. Then you layer on AI.
It's a journey, not a switch you flip.
It is. And the report really emphasizes that this isn't just about saving money, although it saves billions. It's about the patient. Every failed delivery, every spoiled drug, every fake that gets through, that's a person who isn't getting treated.
That really stuck with me. We think of supply chains as trucks and boxes and data, but it's a lifeline.
Digital transformation turns a defensive supply chain where you're just trying not to mess up into a proactive, competitive advantage that actually saves lives.
It's a huge shift. And as we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought. It really puts this all into perspective for me. Think about ordering a pizza on a Friday night.
Pepperoni, of course.
Obviously. You pull out your phone, and you can track that $15 pizza in real time. You know when it goes in the oven. You know when the driver picks it up. You can watch the little car icon turn onto your street.
You know exactly where it is every second.
Every second. And yet, for decades, we couldn't do that for a $10,000 vial of cancer medication.
It's a shocking contrast when you put it like that.
It is. So the question is, if we demand that level of visibility for a pepperoni pizza, why have we accepted anything less for life-saving medicine? The technology is here. The only real barrier left is adoption.
And the will to make it a priority.
Thanks for listening to this deep dive. Stay curious, and we'll catch you on the next one.